Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to focus on strand S, which is S or area and perimeter. So we're going to do perimeter, area of rectangles and squares, and area of parallelograms and triangles. So join me in these three. Let's first look at perimeter. Okay, so perimeter is very basic and simple. I'm sure you've seen it before. Perimeter is literally just adding up all sides. So perimeter is sum of all the sides. Okay, so I try to avoid an equation here. There's no real need. All you do is take the numbers. So perimeter would equal 18 plus 2 plus 18 plus 16. So all you do is add up all the numbers of all the sides. It's that simple. It doesn't get harder. Don't make it harder. So that would be 18 plus 2 plus 18 plus 16. And that would give us 54. Of course, make sure everything's in the same units. Okay, now here we've got a parallelogram. Now what we know about parallelograms, guys, is opposite sides are congruent. So then this would be 13 on this side. And then we would have 7 down below. And again, you would just add up all the sides. So this would make 20 and then another 20. So my perimeter here would be 40. Okay, we're going to skip ahead. Okay, so here they're obviously not giving you a picture. So then it's up to you. You can draw one or you can just think about it. So square has side lengths of 41.4 kilometers. So guys, with a square, you know all 4 sides are the same. So you would simply do perimeter is, and this would be 4 times 41.4. That's the same as adding up 41.4 4 times. And that gives me 165.6. Okay, now they're just getting fun with the pictures, giving you funky ones. So enjoy this perimeter lesson. Now this one is where they're going backwards. Here's where they're giving you perimeter, and then they give you the picture and they want you to find the dimensions. So this is a square. So you know all 4 sides have to be the same. So in this case, perimeter would equal 4 times p, or excuse me, 4, well, it would be p because they're using p, lowercase p as one of the sides. So since you know perimeter, capital P is 82.8, that would equal 4p. And you just use your algebra and divide. That would give me 20.7. Right. I always love a good perimeter problem. They're straightforward. Nothing ever too tricky. All right, let's go back. Let's look at S.2. All right, area of rectangles and squares. So for me, I think of an area of a rectangle and square as the same thing because I try to remember as little formulas as possible. So I always think of it as base times height. Now, obviously for a square, base and height would be the exact same. So in this case, this would just be 3 times 4, so that would be 12. So I know you've seen something like this before. So this is a square, 7 times 7, that would be 49. You could think of it as 7 squared. We're going to jump far ahead because it's simply just base times height. Okay, now here's where they're going backwards. An area has a square of 25 feet. So I would say 25 is equal to, now I know my base and height are the same, so I would call it x squared. Okay, because that would be side times side, which is x squared. Now to undo this, you guys know what to do. You're going to square root it. So we square root both sides. Okay, so technically the square root of 25 is plus or minus 5. Please don't forget that. Always, always, always keep that in your mind. However, since we're talking about a square, which is an actual side length, you cannot have a negative side length. So that scratches off. So our only answer is positive 5. Okay? But Please always do consider when you square root, consider both answers and throw out the 1 if it doesn't work. Okay, and then for our last one here, they're giving you area, but they're not giving you one of the side lengths, so it would simply just be the same. So area is 7 times W, and then the area is 70, so 70 equals 7 times W, so then clearly W is going to be 10. Love it. Love a good old area problem. All right, let's go back. Let's go into S.3. Area of parallelograms and triangles. Okay, so these are two different formulas. Now, parallelograms are actually the same as squares and rectangles. It's still base and height. What's really, really important is that base and height must be perpendicular, okay? And that's true for any relationship with base and height. So that's true for triangles and squares and rectangles. Whenever you're comparing base and height, make sure they're always perpendicular. Area of a triangle is going to be 1/2, which you could say is 0.5 base times height. It's literally a half of a rectangle, half a parallelogram, half a square, however you want to think of it. All right, so for this guy here, this is a parallelogram. They gave me my base, which is 4, my height, which is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. So I would keep it simple. So parallelograms are just the same as rectangles. They're just shifted rectangles. Okay, so for this triangle here, it would be area is 1/2 of 8 times 6. So that would be 1/2 of 48, which is 24. Okay. Okay, so here we have another parallelogram. It would just be base times height, which is 3 times 15. If you look at it, it's literally just a rectangle pushed over at a slant, like an oblique rectangle. All right, let's jump ahead. Okay, so clearly they like to give you the area and have you work backwards and find a missing dimension. So in this case, the area is 64. So 64 is equal to my base, which is t, and my height, which is 8. So then 64 divided by 8 would give me 8. So 8 is t. Okay, now let's go ahead and solve this triangle one. I find people don't like fractions, so let's deal with it with the triangle. So area is 45. Okay, so 45 is equal to 0.5. That's the same as 1/2. Base times height. My base is 10. My height is p. All right, so your base and your height are always perpendicular. So the first thing you can do is you can divide by 0.5, or you could distribute it through. I like to distribute it through and make my number smaller. So that would give me 1/2 of 10, which is 5, so 5p. And then I'm going to divide by 5, which is 9, so 9 is p. That's it. Okay, now what I want to do is this last problem here, and I'm going to not distribute the 0.5. I'm going to divide by it first and show you I'll still get the correct answer. Okay, so here they're saying the area of a triangle is 12 square miles and a base is 6. And you know, I'm a sucker for a good picture, so it never hurts to draw a picture. It takes a quick second and it just gives you a nice visual. Okay, so my base is 6. My height's unknown, so I'll call that h. And then my area was 12. So 12 is 0.5 times base times height, so 6 times h. Okay, so in the last example, I distributed the 0.5 through, which I think is easier. But in this case, you could actually divide by 0.5. So 12 divided by 0.5, this always throws people off. It's actually going to be 24. because a half goes into 12 24 times. So 24 is equal to 6h. Divide by a 6, and h is 4. All right, so I always recommend you doing the best method that works for you as long as it's mathematically correct. That concludes our lesson for today, and I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.